Hi guys! Today I'm going to do a tag video, which is the advice for your teenage self tag. Lauren from Laurenella, who I will link to below, she tagged me in this a couple of days ago. So I thought this would just be the perfect opportunity to do this tag, as I've just turned 22, so there's absolutely no way that I could be considered a teenager anymore. And earlier this week I also did a post on my blog about my hair history, so like all the past hairstyles I've had and stuff. And looking back through all the old photos was like massively cringy and embarrassing, so if you want a good laugh, go and have a look at that post. It's not pretty. So anyway, I'll get started with the tag. There's just a few questions, and the first one is 3 makeup and fashion do's for your teenage self. Most of the ones that I've thought of so far are definitely don'ts, stuff you shouldn't do, but I'm going to try and think of 3 do's. So first of all, I would say it's a sort of makeup-y one. Do try and make the most of your skin. Like, try and not wear like loads of makeup when you actually don't need it. When I was looking back at the old photos the other day, I was just like amazed at how good my skin looked, especially for a teenager. Everyone thinks teenagers have like awful skin, but I actually had quite good skin when I was a teenager. Didn't really get spots that much, didn't suffer from like acne or anything like that, which was very lucky, and at the time I didn't really make the most of it. So I kind of wish I had a bit more. That's not to say like I cluttered on loads and loads of makeup for the sake of it. I didn't really start wearing makeup until I was probably about 15, 16. So yeah, I should have just made the most of it really, I think. And instead of like starting to wear makeup, I should have started to get more interested in skincare. I kind of wish I'd done that, but at the same time, makeup's quite fun, so never mind. So yes, the first one would be do make the most of your natural skin if you can. My second makeup fashion do would be do try and sort of branch out a bit more on what you wear. Do try and at least try and be a little bit fashionable. My school didn't have a uniform, so we could wear basically whatever we wanted. So you know, I would have had plenty of opportunities to wear something nice. But pretty much every day all I wore was like jeans with like holes all the way up the back. They're all like ripped up the back because I wore them when they were too long, and it looked kind of minging and disgusting, especially when it was like rainy and they got like all the water soaked halfway up your leg and there was like little salt marks, and it was just pretty minging really. So yeah, I just wore jeans and hoodies, any kind of hoodies. I used to wear a lot of stuff from like Quicksilver and Billabong and stuff like that. I don't know why. I was like the least sporty person ever. I definitely didn't snowboard or surf or anything like that, so I don't really know why I always bought clothes from there, but I did. So yeah, do try and be a little bit fashionable. Do try and wear clothes that maybe, you know, people wouldn't assume you were a boy if you wore them. Maybe wear a skirt once in a while. Who knows? My third makeup slash fashion do would be, I'm struggling to think of a third one. Basically everything I can think of is don't. I would say do try and shop in like fashionable shops. When I had like, I wasn't a tomboy as such, but I wasn't really interested in like dresses and stuff. But I did start to like, if there was like, I don't know, a school disco or someone's birthday party or something, I would like get a slightly more fashionable outfit for that. But when I say fashionable, I mean like Tammy Girl, or what was that? I can't remember. I think it was called Kylie in Mackay's. They used to have like the teenage girl section. I think it was called Kylie. So I used to like buy stuff from there, but it was pretty hideous. It was all like covered in like glitter, or had random like straps attached to it, or like buckles all down the front or something. just wasn't really that good. So my fashion do would be, don't shop in like horrible teenagery shops, just shop in normal shops like New Look. They have like a massive teenage section, which I've quite often walked past and think, oh, that looks quite nice, but they're just teenager clothes. Or like H&M, it's really cheap, just shop in there, just don't go to Tammy. It doesn't exist now for a good reason. So yes, do shop in good shops. So the next question is on to the 3 fashion makeup don'ts. So I think this one's going to be slightly easier. First of all, don't wear ridiculous eyeliner. Now, nowadays I wear liquid eyeliner on my top lid pretty much every day. That's just how I do my makeup now. And I think it looks okay, I think I've perfected it, it's all good. But when I was a teenager, sort of early teens, probably about 13, 14, my makeup routine consisted of black pencil kohl eyeliner on the bottom lid and waterline and no other makeup. That was it. Not even like, didn't put eyeliner on the top lid, didn't put on mascara, did absolutely nothing with my skin or anything, just this thick black line of eyeliner underneath my eye. I really don't know what possessed me to do that. I don't know why I thought that would be a good look, but it just definitely wasn't. So if you're going to wear eyeliner, you should definitely learn how to use it. And maybe start by putting on your top lid instead of the bottom one. That might be a good idea. Ugh, gives me shudders. Second makeup don't is don't wear black eyeshadow. Kind of along the same lines, after I progressed from the black eyeliner, I bought black eyeshadow. I can remember it was like a little square one from Rimmel, and it was just, I don't think it even had a name, it was just black. And I used just like one of this little horrible sponge applicators you get, just the one that came with it, and just all over my lid, black eyeshadow. Didn't bother to like blend it out, didn't attempt to sort of put in any other colours. It was just a massive sweep of black right across my eyelid, and it looked pretty horrible. Ugh. Yeah, definitely don't do that if you're a teenager, just don't. Third makeup / fashion don't would probably be, don't wear like weird random accessories when the rest of your outfit is just quite normal. I remember I had these fingerless gloves that came up to your elbow. They were rainbow striped, and I just remember wearing them quite a lot just with like hoodies, and they just looked so weird. Like, why were they elbow length? Why were they fingerless? Why did they just exist in general? Just, no, it was not good. And I also had a rainbow scarf which kind of matched it but kind of didn't, and I quite often used to wear them together, and it was just pretty horrific really. At the time I thought it was like well cool, but it definitely wasn't. It was quite horrific really. Ugh. Next question we have is a deep and meaningful piece of advice for your teenage self. I guess it would just be, just don't take things too seriously. School, like for me, school wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't my favourite time in my life. I don't like have massive regrets or anything about school and like my teenage years, but definitely I would never ever want to go back again. So yeah, I think just don't take things too seriously, don't really listen to what people have to say about you, don't get caught up in like all the things that teenagers worry about, because in the grand scheme of things it's not important at all. by the time you're 22, which I am now, you really aren't going to remember who picked who first in the team for softball, or who wanted to be your partner in art class or whatever. You're just not going to remember these things. They're not important in your life. At the time they might seem important, but just don't worry about them because they're really not. So that is my deep and meaningful advice. One tip for school is the next question, and I guess my tip would be, again, kind of just don't take it too seriously. At the time when you're doing like your standard grades and your hard, you're like, oh my god, these are the most difficult exams I've ever done in my life. These are horrific. But actually they're pretty easy, and you know, if you can't pass like foundation standard grade, then you should probably be like slightly worried really. But apart from that, yeah, they're like the easiest exams ever. Even like as I am now, when I was in first year at uni, I thought the exams were like ridiculously hard and like, how am I going to pass these? But by the time you get to second, third, fourth year, like actually those were quite easy. I would quite happily take those any day now. So I'd say work hard. I was a bit geeky, to be honest. Don't want to like blow my own trumpet or anything, but usually in most of my classes I was kind of seen as like the cleverest one. So people always like ask me for homework advice and like ask me to help them with their work and stuff. So I did work hard. Like I wouldn't advise just not doing your homework and just skiving off all the time. Definitely do work hard, but just don't go overboard and like don't worry about it. Like if you don't get full marks in a test, it's not gonna matter in your daily life really. It's not that important. So yes, work hard but not too hard. The next question is one tip for friends. I guess it would be kind of along the same lines as everything else really. Just don't worry about it too much. Like don't bother being friends with people just for the sake of it. Only be friends with them if you actually like them and get along with them. Nowadays from school there's probably only a couple of people that I was friends with at school that I would still talk to and would still consider friends. Everyone else is kind of just not really important anymore. They've just kind of dropped off my little radar. And that's not to say like they've done anything bad or I've done anything bad and like we've cut each other out of our lives or anything like that. It's just when you grow up you make new friends, and the ones that are really your friends, they will stay your friends, but the ones that aren't really that important you'll just kind of forget about and you won't really miss them. So when you're at school, don't bother trying to be friends with everyone or being friends with people just because you want an extra friend for your group or whatever. Only talk to people, well, don't be mean obviously, don't be a bully, don't be horrible, but only bother making an effort to be friends with someone and invite them to stuff and include them in stuff. Only do that if you actually like them, otherwise it's kind of unfair for both of you. You're just have a bit of a sham friendship really, so yeah, just don't bother. And the last question is one tip for fun. Now I was going to say just kind of switch your computer off, go outside, go shopping with your friends, go to the cinema, have a party or something, just do something in the outside world. That was going to be my advice, but then when I thought about it for a minute, I was like a bit of a massive computer geek when I was a teenager. And if I hadn't done that, then I probably wouldn't be writing a blog or making YouTube videos just now. I don't think if I hadn't done that as a teenager, then I don't think it really would have occurred to me to like be doing it now. So it's kind of, that's always kind of been a part of my like hobbies, has been an online kind of side of life. When I was a teenager I used to have my own blog, but it wasn't really the same kind of blog as blogs are nowadays. It was more just kind of like a personal kind of diary rather than like fashion and beauty. And I had my own domain name, and I like made all the layouts and stuff myself. I was like self-taught myself. I taught myself HTML and CSS so I could like make them all look nice and stuff. And I made some like online friends who, some of them like I still talk to nowadays, which is really nice. So yeah, my advice would be actually just do whatever you like to do. Don't feel like, if everyone else is like going out to parties, don't feel like you have to. If you'd rather stay in and write a blog, then just do it because it's fun. Yeah, that would be my advice. Do whatever makes you happy. That was quite deep and meaningful, wasn't it? So yes, that was my video, my advice for my teenage self. Yeah, I'm quite glad I'm not a teenager anymore, although I do have some fond memories, although some of that I'd rather blank out of my memory and pretend it never ever happened. But anyway, that was it. So if you want to do this video, then I tag you all, just have a go, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!